Overnight, a San Antonio area family and other community members spent their Christmas continuing to search for a missing pregnant teenager. Leon Valley police have issued a clear alert for 18-year-old Savannah Soto, warning she could be in immediate and serious danger right now.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Walking Between Shadows. We're your hosts. I'm Ben.
I'm Taryn.
And this week, we're going to bring a case out of San Antonio. It's current, live, and developing as we speak. It's kind of sickening that this sort of thing's going on around the Christmas holiday. But before we get to that, Taryn, let's talk about our strain of the week.
Let's do.
So what is our strain of the week?
This week it's Lemon G.
Lemon G. And this is coming, again, this is a house-branded product from Elevate Dispensary in Belton, Missouri. And we want to encourage everybody to check out Elevate, especially if you're in the Missouri area or Kansas City area and anywhere in Missouri, because they're opening up new locations in the near future. But right now, we focus mainly on the one in Belton, Missouri, Elevate Dispensary.
That's right.
So Lemon G. You been smoking it?
Yes, I have. You know, we both tried this earlier. Let's talk about your experience with it. If we can get the dog to quit acting crazy for a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just part of the show. Well, let me start by saying this. It doesn't matter if it's a sativa or a indica or a hybrid. It doesn't matter. It's very clear now that no matter what I touch, it's going to knock my ass down and give me the munchies. Now, I've never experienced paranoia.
No, you haven't.
No.
You're not the paranoid type, though. I mean, I don't really see you doing that.
No, it just knocks my ass clean out.
Yeah, all day today. So this was a trial run with this Lemon G because this is a sativa, and it's supposed to be uplifting, and it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I looked at you today, it was a doze off. It was a, eyes closing and the end of it all, at least for a couple hours.
What?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Still feeling the effects of it.
Yeah.
But personally, I have really enjoyed it. I love the flavor of this, the smell of this. It's citrusy.
Lemon G is the pride of Ohio, representing the Midwest among all the Dutch and West Coast strains out there. Potent and invigorating, this strain descends from original G13. Relaxing effects tend to show up first after consuming Lemon G. Over time, however, the upbeat, euphoric, and giggly effects begin to emerge. Lemon G is a sociable strain and, as the name suggests, has a strong lemon fragrance. Taste-wise, this strain is fairly mellow and does not necessarily exhibit the strong citrus properties found in its scent. What people say in general is it's uplifting, energetic, talkative. The negatives are dry mouth, dry eyes, and paranoid. Lemon G strain flavors include a lemon, a citrus, and a mint, obviously. And 36% of the people that have used this strain and reported on it say that it does help with stress. 30% of the people say it helps with pain, and 30% say it helps with anxiety. Now, that throws me because one of the negatives is paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for some people. I mean, sativas can uplift some people and knock out some people, just like with you and I. You never really know.
Yeah, with me, it don't matter. I don't care if it's a flower that I smoke, a tincture that I take, a gummy that I eat. Doesn't matter if it's sativa or indica or a pure straight up hybrid. My ass is taking a nap.
Right. So speaking of gummies, we also picked up, or you picked some up for me the other day that are amazing from Elevate. And these are the Cosmic gummies. And these are the caramel apple. And they're amazing to me. So
Cosmic has really surprised us with these hybrid, funky flavors. Like nobody would have ever. Caramel apple, yeah, I get it. That's probably something somebody eventually is going to come up with. Yeah. But the last one you had, peanut butter and jelly.
And it's so good.
With actual peanut butter in it.
And actual caramel in these.
That just floors.
So it's like a gummy, like a round gummy. And do I need to bite into one? I probably don't need to eat one right now. But in the center is, that candy, that peanut butter candy you get at Halloween?
Yeah, it's
in the
kind of
orange.
dry and
It's
flaky
in
almost.
the orange waxy wrapper and the black
Oh.
waxy, and in the middle of it, there's like a little spritz of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is like
Oh,
too.
okay.
So you bite in it and you're getting that apple, and then when you get to the caramel, it's like, oh,
So I got to
here we are.
say, I tried one of the peanut butter and jelly and was just floored.
Yeah.
But it fucked me up so bad, I am not even going to try one of the caramel apple. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to go there.
Well, I looked over there. At you the day you were eating the peanut butter and jelly one, and you started to put the whole thing in your mouth. I mean, you bit it in half. You saw there was peanut butter, and you were quite amazed that it tasted so well. But then you went ahead and put the rest of it in there. I was like, babe, you don't want to do that.
Well, and I spit the other half out, mind you.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch. I mean, I'm not making fun of you, but kind of when you do it because you are funny.
No, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, and then after I get something like that happens to me, I get up and bitch at you for letting me do it.
Why'd you let me do this? Okay, well, I won't. I'll just have more for me. But it's still funny. It's funny as shit to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're an enabler.
Well, I feel like it's been the holidays, and I thought maybe you might need it, but we hadn't had a stressful holiday.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, we had a great Christmas, and I hope all y'all did too.
We did. Really. Thanks to Amazon, UPS, and the post office, we had a great Christmas.
Yeah, we did. We absolutely did.
Yeah, the stuff we got for Christmas was great. The stuff we sent out for Christmas was great.
Things we ate were wonderful. We had a good Christmas.
Yeah. We're not done with that yet either.
That's right.
So this week, we got to talk about this episode that's going on, and I mean it's current.
Yeah.
Just a few days of activity, and the internet is burning up with stuff about this case.
Yeah.
So
it is. It's gotten a lot of attention over the past week. It's been a week. Mm-hmm. It's been a week. Mm-hmm. And how I came upon it was like I always do, watching true crime and watching even YouTube, TikTok. And I'm watching, I believe it was the 24th. So this was right before we went and looked at the Christmas lights in Kansas City. I'm watching the news, and I see a mother on there just pleading for help.
Yeah.
Her very pregnant 18-year-old daughter, Savannah Soto, went missing from San Antonio, Texas. And she was scheduled for an induction on the 23rd. And her or her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, never did show up. And, I mean, days go by, a couple days go by. The mother of both these kids, both the mothers and fathers and family members and friends are terrified of what's going on.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the terror that they were exhibiting because they knew what kind of lifestyle they were.
Yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit about the lifestyle that these two were living and the family members even.
And it wasn't the rich and famous.
And it's not me judging, and it's not us judging. This is just the reality of this situation that we're about to talk about. Right. On December the 26th, so the day after Christmas, a family member of Savannah Soto is tipped off, and authorities are called, and they find the bodies of Savannah, 18-year-old Savannah Soto, and Matthew Guerra in their Kia Optima in a parking lot of an apartment complex in the medical center in San Antonio, Texas.
Just 3 miles from their own.
Just 3 miles from their own apartment. Mm-hmm. The last time they were seen was on the 22nd. And like I said, on the 23rd, she was scheduled to go in for an induction because she was 42 weeks pregnant.
So was she overdue?
Well, I mean, you can go 42 weeks, and I've never gone 42 weeks. I can't imagine what that's like. But she, 18 years old, young, and she could go 42 weeks. First baby, sometimes you do go, Okay. A lot of people go overdue or 2 weeks overdue.
Gotcha.
So they had scheduled it for that Saturday. She didn't show up. Both parents, Savannah's mother, I believe it was her mother, and grandmother filed a missing person report on her, and Matthew Guerra's father and stepmother go to the apartment, and they kick the door in. They knock. They've tried to call. Everybody's tried to call. Nobody can get in touch with them. So Matthew's father kicks in the door of the apartment that they were living in. There's a candle lit. So I don't know what time. I think it was around 11 a.m. on Saturday, the 23rd, when Matthew's father and stepmother went to the apartment and kicked it in. So I don't know what time they would have left, but there was a candle still lit, and the baby bag that we all pack before we go to a hospital to have a baby, was still left at the apartment. So they're wondering what happened.
Yeah.
And like I said, on December the 26th, they were found. And when the bodies were found, someone on social media tipped off Savannah's sister-in-law, and she happened to call the authorities, and she beat the authorities to the scene.
Yeah. And they had told her, like, do not approach that scene.
Do not approach the scene. Wait till we get there. We got to,
But she did anyway.
But she did. And I don't know that I blame her. If it was my family member and I saw their vehicle sitting there after not seeing them for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably run to it too. I don't know. But she did. She opens up the car door and she sees Savannah in the front seat, with the carrier in her lap. Matthew is in the back seat with his pants down. Both of the victims were tied up, and both had a gunshot wound to the back of their head behind their right ear.
Yeah.
So, this crime scene is, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And everybody's wondering about the baby, and we still kind of are wondering about the baby.
Well, and that's all they've told is that they were shot behind the right ear, but yet they tell that his pants were down.
Yeah.
Now, if this goes a way that it could go, there probably could have been some mutilation they're not telling yet.
Exactly.
But we don't know. Nobody said anything. And
we don't know if Savannah had the baby yet. And maybe, because, a lot of times when there's a pregnant person like this and they're kidnapped, it goes really bad with someone taking the baby, maybe cutting it out of her stomach. But I don't think that's the case. There is a possibility that she did have the baby after, I think it's called cryptic birth.
Yeah.
After she was deceased.
Yeah.
So, there's a possibility. With Matthew having his pants down around his ankles, and that's an act of humiliation, and that's saying something. I don't know what that's saying but it's sending a message.
Yeah.
I don't know what message it's sending with Savannah in the car seat in her lap, if it was even.
Yeah.
So, what happened? And let's talk a little bit about the lifestyles that these kids led. Matthew, a year before, on the 25th of December, so on Christmas Day of December of 22, Matthew gets a domestic assault charge on Savannah. There was a neighbor that has made a statement that he witnessed Matthew kicking Savannah down the stairs of the apartment complex until she was unconscious, and then dragging her back into the apartment. The police were called, and he was taken to jail. And I believe he was, at this time, a year later, they were back together, and I believe that he was allowed to be around her, which is odd.
Right.
As long as there was no, vicious or violent behavior, how can you call that?
There wasn't a restraining order of any type.
No. And she was a minor at the time when he did this, and Matthew was 4 years older than her. So
see, that's the first thing that really makes me think, her family knew what the hell she was in. Otherwise, if one of your kids had been in that situation, would you not try to have some sort of restraining order filed or something?
And
because she's a minor.
And they possibly did. I don't know how long that extends for in the state of Texas. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
But I think it's been made very knowledgeable to the public that nothing was done.
Right. I mean, they were back together. I don't know if he had put his hands on her during the pregnancy. I don't know if it really matters. I mean,
No.
abuse is abuse either way. Neighbors did say that they've heard them fighting all the time. And even that Friday night, the last time they were seen, neighbors reported hearing, fighting and arguing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, also, how he made his money. Matthew was selling drugs. Let's just put it that way. I mean, he was very much into it too.
Yeah, I mean, he posted pictures with wads of cash and shit like that. So
Yeah. And on the 22nd, the last day that they were seen alive, he puts a post up on his social media. It's called Telegram. I don't know anything about it, but he puts this post up, and he's talking about how everybody's favorite things will be on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's putting out there that he has drugs coming in. He's got all these posts with like bottles of codeine and pills, and it's not just weed. I mean, it's
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Different stuff. Yeah.
And as far as I know, Texas is an illegal state anyway. So either way, he was selling a lot of illegal things. He was out on bond at the time. I don't know what exactly for, but he got charged with something with two other guys. And the two guys were still in jail, I believe. And Matthew got out the next day after the charges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he bonded out, and it made, they thought, how did he get out? And we couldn't.
Right.
But he did.
Yeah.
So that was going on too. So this was kind of the lifestyle they were living. It sounds like a lot of abuse, a lot of drugs, a lot of illegal money.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts them in a lifestyle that it's not very questionable about what happened a whole lot. I mean, it's also been said that Matthew had gotten out on bond early for these previous charges he had gotten, and that everyone was saying he was snitching, that him and Savannah were snitching. But here's my question. It's like, how did they get these kids out of their own apartment?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of wondering maybe if on the 22nd, after Matthew puts this post up about how everybody's favorite things will be in tomorrow, and maybe if somebody let him borrow some money. He just gotten out of jail on bond. He probably needed to be fronted some stuff so he could make some money, especially before the baby's born. And so maybe he went to the big guy and asked to borrow some money, and he was giving it to him, and he gave it to him. This is just my theory.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the 22nd, when he puts this post up on Telegram talking about how he's got all this stuff,
mm-hmm.
Could that have pissed off the person that he owes? And maybe he took the money that he owed him and got some more drugs so he could make a little bit more. And that time frame was up.
Yeah. Could have been.
Guy wanted his money. And I don't know if maybe they're sitting in the apartment and they get a phone call that, we're on our way up there to get our money. And they leave because they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew's cell phone was not in the vehicle when they were found, and neither was a gun. So we know that there was not a murder-suicide here.
Right.
That can be ruled out because where'd the gun go? There's a videotape. There's a couple videos. One of them is a door cam, and it's a couple kids out in front of this apartment, and they're talking about how Matthew and Savannah are snitching.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something to do with it. There's also a video of some night, and the police do not will not put the date out on this video, but there is a video of the Kia Optima that Savannah and Matthew were found in, and someone else is driving it.
Yeah, someone else is driving it. Somebody else interacts with it.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder if they were at their apartment and someone calls and says, we're on their way up there. They try to leave, and when they try to leave, there's somebody in the apartment complex parking lot, in their apartment complex parking lot, waiting for them. And they put Matthew in the back seat, hand her the carrier, and somebody else is driving. I don't know. I mean, that's just my theory that could have possibly happened, because I don't know how, unless they thought they were going to somebody that night that they could trust, and this person ended up not being trustworthy.
Right.
So,
well, in the video, you see, there's somebody else in the truck with the fat man who tosses the towel out at him. When he approaches the Kia Optima driver door the second time with the towel, somebody stands up. We don't know if it was a man or a woman. I don't think that's really been told.
Yeah.
And then sits
like a woman.
Yeah, and then sits immediately back down in the car. I mean, this is definitely,
it's just right out there.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder when you see the video, and we'll put it in here. When you see the video of the man getting out, I mean, a lot of people are saying there's no way that that's him. He's got on a fat suit or something. No. This is him. And now everybody in Texas is looking at big men and saying, this could be him. This could be him. This was a dark truck. They're going. I've even heard that people are down there going to private residences and taking pictures of people's vehicles.
Oh my God.
And sending them to the authorities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gotten completely out of hand. But the truth of it is the lifestyle that these people were living, as sad as it is, it makes you wonder why they didn't have first Matthew being the male figure in this relationship, and should have been her protector and baby Fabian's protector. Just didn't value her life enough or this baby's life enough to keep her safe and out of that mess. I mean, even during the time when they were missing, you could hear, there was posts being put up by both families where Savannah's family's blaming Matthew. They're saying that, I don't know that they really said that he did anything to her, but they did say he was abusive, and they did say that the life that he lives brought this on.
Yeah, he's dragging her around through this life.
Yeah.
But I say dragging her around, it looks like she participated. She thought it was cute and cool that she had a thug boyfriend. And
well, I don't know if that's it, but
you can tell the way she acted. I mean, people have looked at posts she's had on social media, and I mean, this is just two dumbass kids playing in something that is way above their heads.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's it. That's how I feel about it.
I feel like, it's sad for this baby.
Absolutely.
But this goes on more than people want to talk about. This just happened to go viral.
Yeah.
This goes on all the time.
Yeah.
This goes on all the time.
Yep.
And I don't know what message was being sent, but there was some message being sent with his pants down, Matthew's pants down. They got you with your pants down.
Yeah.
They got you with your pants down. I don't know what the message is, but it's really shitty. It's really shitty all the way around. And I hope that if any lessons are learned from this, it's if you play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. And I'm not making fun of this or judging them. And I hope nobody thinks that at all. My heart goes out to these families that have lost their children. Of course it does.
It's very tragic.
It's horrifying.
Very tragic. Her family suffered over 2 losses, both of them back-to-back Christmas losses. And really his did too. I mean, apparently these families had known each other for a long time, and that just is what it is. Just like you said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Get into something with somebody or something that's way over your head, and you're going to pay it. You're going to pay the price.
And I'm wondering if Savannah even knew. I mean, as a mother, and I was a young mother, and I'm not going to say, maybe she was saying, we got to stop doing this before the baby gets here. And I don't even know if she knew how deep he was in with somebody.
You're shitting me. She's taking a picture in a car with him. And he's got a stack of cash next to his head, about 6 inches thick. I'm not buying that she didn't know.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that she didn't fucking participate.
Yeah, it's just, even him being in and out of court like that, where the fuck was his probation officer? Like, where the fuck? How the fuck you got all this stack of money to your ear like it's a cell phone in this one picture?
Yeah. You got to call it what it is. Look, these parents knew how terrifying this was because they knew the life these kids were living.
Exactly.
They did.
Yeah.
Her little brother a year earlier had been killed for this very life and doing fucking with somebody over stupidity.
That's very true.
And now you've got this whole poor, pitiful me from these parents because my kids are getting killed. Well, stomp that ass. Get them out of that life. Do something to help. When she's been beaten prior to, go to court and make sure her underage ass is protected. And that's not happened.
And I did hear that, I know that Matthew's dad was being interviewed on TV, and he said, when this happened with Savannah being beat up by Matthew, I told them to keep him in jail, to not let him out. But what are you going to do? You can't just hold somebody forever.
No, you're not going to hold him, but why not go file a fucking restraining order?
Yeah.
That's not going to keep him in jail.
But what Matthew's dad was told was by the authorities is that Savannah has to do this.
She is a minor.
Then it would be her family that have to.
Then they're liable. The law enforcement agency is liable. She is a freaking minor. That is the biggest crock of mess.
You would think that the state would press charges. Okay, so she doesn't want to press charges. You would think that the state would press charges at that time.
That's right.
Because this is a felony. You beat up a minor. Mm-hmm. That's a felony charge, is it not?
I think there's simple assault and stuff like that that's not necessarily a felony. I'm not classifying the crime. I'm just saying these people ought to known something's wrong here, that he's got to go to jail for whipping her ass into an unconscious state at that. So it wasn't just a little slap on the cheek. No.
Right. I believe the neighbor was a witness in court against him, and pretty much people didn't like Matthew.
Right.
He was not liked. Let's just put it.
Well, but that's my point. Her family should have stood up for her and that baby as minors and filed a restraining order. But yet now it's all about poor, pitiful me. No. That little girl knew what she was into. That little girl was not going to defend herself because she thought it was cool and cute and all that kind of mess. That little boy was playing with shit. He had zero idea of what would really happen to him, even after her little brother was killed the year before.
Right.
I ain't buying the sympathy. I'm sorry.
Did you feel protected, or did you pop off on somebody you should have popped off on?
There you go. Run your mouth, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is an ongoing and very active case right now.
Sure.
They still do not have, and it makes you wonder, will they get justice for this? Because if this was done by Big Boss, let's say,
the members of the cartel.
Yeah. How is anything gonna be done?
Nope. No.
So, that's the price you pay when you live that life. It's very hard to be protected. Mm-hmm. It's very hard for you to ask for authorities to step up and risk their life when you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. You know what you're in. Yep. I get it.
And as an 18-year-old pregnant little girl, I was an 18-year-old pregnant little girl.
Yeah, but you weren't getting your ass whipped and kicked down flights of steps and shit like that.
No, not at all. And I cannot imagine what, I don't know. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that codependency on such a toxic relationship. I don't know what she grew up with. I didn't know what she grew up seeing, but it was a cycle of something.
Yeah, and terrible. The tragedy is the child.
Yeah.
The loss of that child. that was innocent, that did not even have a voice in the matter.
Mm-hmm. And the risk that everybody that leads this kind of lifestyle is putting their children in, and that cycle just doesn't end.
No.
And it's devastating to communities and to families. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, it's very tragic for parents to lose kids. I couldn't imagine. I mean, you've been through a very close situation like that.
Yeah.
You know, your family's experienced that. My family's experienced that. I have not.
Yeah.
So I can't walk in those shoes. I can't say that I know how they feel. But hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
And now they're wishing they had gotten a restraining order. They had protected that unborn child.
And I hope that something good comes from this. I hope that something good comes from this and it doesn't just end up another statistic and another tragedy that is swept under the rug. And because just like I said, if this is cartel related, it's going to be like hell freezing over to get these people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
that's a reflection of the times we live in too.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. And like I said, you know, Savannah's family losing 2 kids back to back at Christmas time, I could not imagine, and my heart pours out for them for that.
Her grandmother's, there was a video of her grandmother and it just broke my heart.
Yep. Sweet lady. Very sweet lady.
The whole family. I mean, this was Savannah. Savannah was the only little girl in the family, and
yeah.
It's heartbreaking. And yeah, my heart goes out to them. Every one of them. And we will definitely keep everyone updated on this case.
Yeah, as updates come along. I mean, I know you'll be throwing shorts out there and stuff like that. And I'm interested in seeing how this thing unfolds because, it's a sad situation and we're very sympathetic, like I said, for the child, the unborn child. And that the fact that this family has lost 2 kids on Christmas, and these families are commingled in a lot of wrong ways. Mm-hmm. And we hope they find peace and justice after this.
Sure.
So right now, that's the developing case of the murder of Savannah Soto
and Matthew Guerra.
Matthew Guerra out of the San Antonio, Texas area. If anybody knows anything, please reach out to authorities, especially if you're in that area and you see this and it makes you think of something. The least little bit of information can be the spark that sets the case afire, and we figure out what happens.
Yes, and this is a capital murder case at this time because Savannah was 9 months pregnant, and that baby was definitely viable if the life wouldn't have been taken from him by somebody else's action. So
I still think there's going to be some news and information released about, some pretty nasty stuff being done to them in that car, and some pretty unfortunate circumstances for that baby. It's just the nature of the animal when dealing with groups that are associated with these types of crimes. So again, we appreciate everybody watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and the notifications bell for updates and new episodes as they come out. This is our New Year's episode, kicking off 2024, and so we want to say Happy New Year's to everybody.
Happy New Year.
And we appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.